In the 2024 Western Conference Finals, Luka averaged 32.2 points per game, beating Michael Jordan's 31 points per game and Allen Iverson's 30 in their prime. And if we rewind back to January this season, Luka set the court on fire against the Atlanta Hawks by scoring a whopping 73 points in a single game. This became the fourth highest scoring game ever, with Luka shooting over 75% from the field. See, throughout the season, Luka was like a master painter with his basketball move, crafting each play with precision, to the point that even LeBron James himself said that guarding Luka was like a puzzle on the court because of one thing: Doncic's footwork. It's like poetry in motion. Each step he took was calculated, small, bigger, and then a sudden move that would catch his defenders sleeping. But what makes Luka truly special isn't just his ability to score, but how he plays the game. His understanding of space, his killer footwork, and his ability to lean into opponents make watching him feel like you're seeing a live basketball art exhibit. But who is Luka Doncic really? Hailing from Ljubljana, Slovenia, Luka is the son of beauty salon owner Mirjam Potterbin and professional basketball player Sasha Doncic. Luka's been watching his dad play ball since he was very young, which is why basketball was in his blood from the start. And by the age of 5, Luka was already hooked on basketball, playing regularly. And unlike what you might think, Luka's favorite player is not his dad, but LeBron James. At 8, he joined his first practice with older kids and instantly blew everyone away. In his first game, it didn't take much time for his coach to realize that Luka needed more challenge. That's why his coach put him into play with kids much older than him. And soon enough, he became the player of Olympia's club team. But again, unlike what you might think, Luka wasn't a dominant player in his early years on the court. In fact, he only played a supportive role, learning and observing, always the younger brother on the team. But Luka never let anyone push him around. His spirit was as fierce as a tiger, like his tattoo on his left arm, and he was already showing signs of a leader, refusing to be seen as just the little guy among giants by developing his basketball IQ. Fast forward to when Luka was 13. The hard work of developing his basketball IQ paid off spectacularly. During an international tournament in Rome, our boy showed the world what he was made of. Standing at 5'11", Luka dominated the whole game, scoring a 54-point triple-double and leading his team to a massive win. And because of that, Luka earned the MVP title and an eye-popping average of 34 points per game. After seeing him play, every scout in Europe went crazy, always talking about him. They said that the basketball prodigy from Slovenia was on the rise, and nothing was going to stop him, not even leaving his parents and moving to Real Madrid at just 13. See a young kid moving away from home to a city where football ruled, not knowing the language and diving into a culture completely unfamiliar. Sounds a bit like starting a big new project, doesn't it? But Luka adapted. He learned Spanish, embraced the culture, and yes, kept playing with the older, tougher players. And 3 years later, by the age of 16, Luka was making history with Real Madrid, breaking records as one of the youngest players ever. Back in the 2015-2016 season, Luka, only 17, became a staple on Real Madrid's senior team. Imagine being that young and stepping onto the court in the Euro League, where he made history as one of the youngest ever to play before turning 17. Luka was making moves that had everyone scratching their heads wondering, how did he do that? Then came the 2016-17 season, and Luka was ready to set the court on fire. Before his 18th birthday, Luka had already snagged the Player of the Week title in the Spanish League. But that was just an appetizer. In a game against Žalgiris, Luka took control like a seasoned pro. He nailed 2 clutch shots in the dying moments, ice-cold, game-winning moves that earned him the MVP of the round in the Euro League, making him the youngest to ever achieve that feat. But let's get this straight. Luka wasn't just some lucky kid who got hot for a game. No, he was the real deal, starting and dominating as the best player on the floor against Europe's top competition. It's like he was born for these moments, taking over games, dismissing help in crunch time, and hitting those fearless shots. By season's end, Luka had collected 3 more EuroLeague MVP of the round honors, clinched the EuroLeague Rising Star Award by a unanimous decision, and was named the best young player in the Spanish league. But Luka's magic didn't stop there. In 2017, he joined the Slovenian national team for Eurobasket, teaming up in the backcourt with Goran Dragic, who played with Luka's dad when he was just a kid. Together, they became Europe's top duo. Dragic's speed and Luka's masterful passing turned Slovenia into a powerhouse. Although Dragic was the star, Slovenia looked its best when Luka was in charge. At Eurobasket, Luka dazzled on the international stage, helping his team immensely and landing on the all-tournament team with averages of 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. Then in 2018, Luka Doncic became the heart of Real Madrid. At just 18, he took control, sometimes even directing the seasoned pros on where to be and what to do, which is freaking rare for an 18-year-old player. But it's totally understandable, because Luka's performance was beyond his years, and it showed in his performance. He dominated the Spanish League and the Euro League, scooping up the Player of the Round and the Player of the Month awards left and right. He was breaking records, becoming the youngest to notch these accolades. Now in the Spanish League, Luka recorded the first triple-double since 2007, making it only the 7th in the history of the league. To understand how spectacular and impressive that is, check out this video right here, where we dive into the gritty and tough world of EuroLeague basketball. Moreover, Luka led Real Madrid to a EuroLeague championship, bagging the MVP of the Final Four and the regular season MVP, again as the youngest ever. Then he mirrored this feat in the Spanish League, steering Real Madrid to the championship and earning the season MVP. And in just 3 years as a pro, Luka became the kind of player who orchestrated the entire offense effortlessly. He might not have been the fastest or most athletic, but his game intelligence made him unstoppable. Luka could find passing lanes or create shots for himself, shaking off defenders with his savvy moves. But despite shattering records in Europe, snagging every possible title, and sinking game winners as a teenager, in 2018, many NBA GMs doubted Luka's skills would translate to the league. They thought he was too slow for the fast-paced NBA action. That skepticism led him to be picked 3rd in the draft by the Atlanta Hawks, who then traded him to the Dallas Mavericks for Trae Young. And not only the GMs and Atlanta, but even Dirk Nowitzki had his doubts about Luka's ability.
I didn't think that was going to be this kid. I didn't think it was going to be this kid. When he walked in the first time here in this practice facility, you know, he looked at, he's a big boy, but I'm like, I'm not sure this is going to work. Is he quick enough? Is he athletic enough to go by guys like he is in Europe? And so there were plenty of doubts there from everybody on the team. And you know how you meet already before training camp starts. You know, you meet a month before and you hoop every day and you work out together. And so guys were trying to test him a little bit and, you know, foul him a little bit here and there in their scrimmages. And you can already see that this kid's got something about him. He's got that swag. He knows how to play. He was getting some N1 mixtape passes out of nowhere, and I'm like, he was flashing some of the talent. So we were thinking, man, he's going to be a really good player, but I didn't think he was going to go to that level.
But Luka quickly proved any doubters wrong. 6 weeks into his NBA career, he made his first start as point guard and impressed everyone with 15 points and 8 assists in a win over the Celtics. By January, Luka was setting records again, becoming the youngest player to notch a triple-double and the first teenager in NBA history to score a 30-point triple-double, not to mention racking up multiple triple-doubles. In his rookie year, Luka averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. But sadly, he didn't win the Rookie of the Year award unanimously. And then Luka again started to rewrite the record books by reaching 2,000 points faster than his NBA idol, LeBron James. And just a fun fact, did you know that in his rookie year, Luka was ejected for kicking the ball like a soccer player? And when he was interviewed by reporters, his answer was ridiculously funny.
Just trying to play soccer. I enjoy to kick the ball, stands, and for sure, you know the rule, if it goes to stands, you are ejected.
In his second season, Luka became the centerpiece, the heart and brain of the Mavericks strategy, averaging 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. His performance earned him a spot on the first team All-NBA, making him one of the few to achieve this in their first 2 seasons, joining the ranks of Tim Duncan. But those are just the beginning. because Luka made a statement in his first playoff game against the Clippers by scoring a whopping 42 points, the most ever in an NBA playoff debut. But he didn't stop there. In Game 4 of the same series, he became the youngest player to score a 40-point triple-double in NBA postseason history, tallying 43 points, 17 rebounds, and 13 assists. However, despite Luka's incredible performances, the Clippers were a bit too tough for the Mavericks, taking the series in 6 games. Luka averaged an impressive 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists throughout the series. In his third season, he continued to dazzle, earning a spot on the first-team All-NBA and finishing 6th in the MVP voting. The following year, the Mavericks faced the Clippers again in the first round. Luka upped his game even further, averaging 35 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists, but the series ended in heartbreak with a loss in Game 7. That's why critics began to question Luka's ability to win in the playoffs due to these early exits. But in the 2021-22 season, Luka came back with a vengeance. He finally beat those Clippers and made his first career-high 51 points in one game. And in February, he made history by averaging 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists for the month, while shooting over 40% from 3. A first in the NBA. However, despite this triumph, the Mavericks were overpowered in the conference finals against the Warriors, where Luka still managed to average 32 points per game. In the following 2023 season, Luka continued to break records, scoring his second career-high 60 points and grabbing 21 rebounds in a single game, becoming the first player in NBA history to record a 60-point, 20-rebound triple-double. And now, in 2024, Luka has not only improved his game, but also clinched his first scoring title, averaging an incredible 33.9 points, 9.8 rebounds, and 9.2 assists per game. But here's the craziest thing about Luka. While he's knee-deep in the playoffs this season, he casually plays his favorite game, Overwatch. And let me tell you, he's also a grandmaster there. I mean, come on. He averages 30 points and 10 assists in both the NBA and in Overwatch, which is absolutely wild. A lot of it comes down to how he's trained. Since he was 16, Luka has been visiting the P3 Institute in Santa Barbara, a place that uses science to turn good athletes into great ones. At P3, cameras and sensors analyze every move, helping athletes understand their strengths and improve their weaknesses. Luka worked on his mobility and explosiveness, but one area where he really excelled was deceleration, being able to stop on a dime. This skill gave him an edge that's allowed him to create space and time his shots perfectly, often nailing those game-winning moments when it mattered most. See, most NBA stars are known for their lightning-fast speed, zooming from point A to point B like a cheetah, but Luka? Well, he's mastered the art of slowing down just as fast, which is super crucial when you're weaving through defenders with the ball. Because of mastering his deceleration, Luka is now 4 games away from making the Dallas Mavericks clinch their first NBA championship in 13 years. But how could it be possible that a lot of international players are better than most American players in the NBA? Like the last season MVP, Nikola Jokic. Well, like I said earlier, it's freaking hard to score in the EuroLeague.
Scoring is easier in NBA just because of the amount of the different rules, the less space, the time. So that's why I said it.
So if you want to know more about it, click this video right here and see on the court side.